Hey everybody, Mark here. Welcome to the next weekly tasting. California is the largest producer of wine in the United States. It's essentially where the modern winemaking industry began. And at the heart of California wine country are Napa and Sonoma. And believe it or not, these two famous regions can trace their origins to Mexico. For this weekly tasting, we're going to be drinking two wines from the Carneros region of California. And no coincidence, they're made by a family of Mexican immigrants who came here to live the American dream. These wines are their story. So before the gold rush, California was under the jurisdiction of Mexico, and the areas north of San Francisco were essentially unexplored territory that was inhabited by Native Americans. It was actually Spanish missionaries traveling through Central America that brought grapes to California for the very first time. And as they set up missions, mostly to convert the natives to Christianity, they planted grapes and started making sacramental wine. But in the 1830s, the missions were secularized by the Mexican government, and land grants were given to anybody of Mexican descent who was willing to work the land. So this set the foundation for the wine industry in California and made Napa and Sonoma ground zero. And even after the annexation of California to the United States, Mexican immigrants have played a huge role in the wine industry and the agricultural business in general. Carneros, or Los Carneros as it's also known, covers parts of both Napa and Sonoma wine country, and it's located north of San Francisco's San Pablo Bay. The word Carneros is actually Spanish for sheep, and this region was named after the abundance of sheep ranches. This area is strongly influenced by the cooling effects of the San Pablo Bay. In fact, the fog that rolls in from the bay and over the vineyards is part of a weather system that makes for grapes and wines that become very crisp and refreshing. All over the world, in regions with a similar climate, we see both Chardonnay and Pinot Noir being grown. The Robledo family originally hails from Michoacan, Mexico. Patriarch Reynaldo and his wife Maria arrived in the United States in the 1960s on a work visa, and they worked the vineyards in places like Sonoma-Cutrer and Saint-Superi. Reynaldo started as a field hand, but eventually established himself as an expert in grafting vines. Since becoming American citizens in the 1970s, the Robledo family has acquired over 350 acres in Carneros, Sonoma, and Lake County. Reynaldo and Maria have 9 children, 2 daughters and 7 sons, hence the name on this one label here. The head winemaker, Everardo Robledo, says that their family style is summed up in 3 words: strength, longevity, and grace. Speaking of longevity, I've gone on for too long now because I can see you getting thirsty, so let's taste these wines. So let's start with the Chardonnay. This is the 2016 Los Carneros from Robledo. As always, we're going to give that a nice swirl, unlock all those scents and flavors. This Chardonnay has a very strong dairy aroma to it, almost like buttermilk or sweet cream, and it's bready, like brioche. And both of these characteristics come from barrel aging. This is a big and juicy Chardonnay. At 14.2% alcohol and 10 months in French oak, it's going to have a lot of body, and you can feel that in your mouth. It almost has the weight of like half and half. The barrel aging really imparts some unique characteristics to this wine as well. There's a spiciness, almost like a little bit of a clove flavor in the background, and there's a sweet Meyer lemon roundness to this, and also a tropical fruit juiciness that just gives this wine an undeniable weight in the mouth. And that French oak barrel aging really leaves a nice lingering spiciness on the finish. At 4 years old, this wine is right in the pocket. Now is the time to drink this. It's at its best. And for those of you who love big, complex Chardonnays from California, this one is your Jimmy Jam. So this is Robledo's Seven Brothers Pinot Noir, and we've already talked about the story of the Seven Brothers. It's a 2018, so it's relatively young. Let's taste this one. Pinot Noir is usually a very clear, light wine, and the reason for that is because the grapes are very thin-skinned, so you're not going to get a lot of color extract out of the grapes. Let's give that a swirl. This is everything you would expect from a quality Pinot Noir. Strong raspberry, strawberry, and even a little cranberry flavor in there. I mentioned that Los Carneros is a cooler region of the world, relatively speaking, and cooler regions tend to make for grapes and wines that are higher in acids. And that's the first thing that's impressing me here about this Pinot Noir. Pinot Noir is a thin-skinned grape, so you're not going to get a lot of tannins on a wine like this. And there's that hallmark raspberry, strawberry, and cranberry flavor too. So everything checks out. It's a simple but very pleasing wine. This Seven Brothers Pinot Noir from Robledo pays a strong homage to French Burgundy. In a word, if I could describe it, I'd call it elegant. Chardonnay and Pinot Noir are both very versatile when it comes to pairing with food, and I have some great news. We have more recipes in from Chef Tori Selin. The first recipe is for a savory seafood pancake, and this is a spin on a famous Japanese street food. The recipe utilizes cabbage, scallions, and it's topped with a savory sauce. And crisp white wines like this Chardonnay here are excellent with creamy and savory sauces. And the second recipe is for a Dijon salmon pie. And this is a classic pairing. If you go to France, and specifically Burgundy, you're going to find this pairing everywhere. It's in the menus in every restaurant. It's often said that the story of America is the story of immigrants. Almost every one of us can trace our roots back to somewhere else in the world. And the importance of Mexican immigrants in our history and our wine business can't be overemphasized. The story of the Robledo family is one tasty tale. It's the American dream served up in a glass. Thanks for joining me for this weekly tasting, and as always, if you have any thoughts or comments, you can always drop me a line in the comments section below this video. For Wine Still Sold Out, I'm Marc Supsic. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you for the next bottle. Cheers.